welcome to the True North Show. I'm your host, Megan North, and I'd like to thank the sponsors of the show, Quantum Awakening, Beth Lewis, and Anne C. Clark, who is joining me today. Anne Clark is a skilled online business manager and digital marketer who helps entrepreneurs grow their business through authentic strategies in social media, email marketing, and project management. Alongside her OBM work, Anne is an Akashic Records Intuitive, blending her spiritual gifts with practical expertise to guide clients in overcoming blocks, aligning with their purpose, and achieving success in both business and in life. So Anne and I have worked very closely together for the past 2 years, and it's safe to say that Anne is the creative genius in my business. I have an idea, I speak to Anne, and voila, she creates something that's incredible, that consistently blows my mind. So Anne, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Megan. I'm so excited to be here.
How was your Christmas?
It was good. This year we had a quiet one, which was nice.
Yeah.
You know, we all my family are located in a different state. So this year everybody just wanted to stay home. So we were like, yep, work's nice. It was nice. The kids enjoyed just having that time. They could sit and chill and play with all their presents. So I was happy not to be running in and out of visiting people.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So before we dive into the questions, I thought I'd share with everyone how this episode came about. So in the last month, Anne and I have worked on, and we've published an ebook that explains a little bit more about the numerology of years and how we're coming to the end of a 9-year cycle and how we're about to move into a 1-year cycle. So it's more than just an ebook, though. It is a 50-page workbook that people can purchase, download, and work through.
We don't do things by halves, do we?
No. It has practical steps. It's got rituals, card spreads, and just practices to help people move through the cycles of the years, in particular because we're closing out anything that needs to be cleared for 2025 so that we can move into 2026 confidently and with purpose. So if we're talking about a 9-year, so I'll explain to everybody. So if we think about a numerology from the year cycles, we have a 9-year cycle. And the way that we work it out is this year is 2025. So 2 and 2 and 5 add up to 9. Now, next year we're going into 2026, but because we're in a 9, the cycles of the years are 9. Next year it's 2026, which adds up to 10, but then you do the 1 and the 0, it's 1. So we're going into that 1 year. So just when I was thinking about what to talk about today, I thought, I probably should actually explain while we're talking about 9-year and 1 year. So for you, Anne, what does it actually mean for it to be a 9-year? Like what's happened for you this year that you have felt that we really are closing out a 9-year cycle? What things have you seen that have shifted and moved for you?
This year, I think for a lot of people, particularly on both elements of my businesses, it's 2025 and the last couple of years have been really hard, and people just had enough. And they've been challenged in so many elements of their lives, in, you know, their businesses, in their, I guess, their own self-worth as well, which is a big one. Not wanting to put themselves out there or blocking themselves. And I'm sure, you know, if I say it, people will go, oh, yeah, well, actually, now that I'm paying attention, you know, a lot of people are posting, you know, it's the end of 2025. Happy to see that one go. You're seeing all the memes of people, you know, bye-bye and, you know, on you go. Because, you know, it's challenged them. It's, you know, made them, in some ways, it's made them stop and have a look of what's happening, why it's happening. You know, I know for me, 2025 gave me some challenges that I was like, you know, there's been quite a few moments where I've been on the phone with my mum in tears going, why me? Why does this keep happening? This sucks. But, you know, one of the things that my team of lights always remind me is that it's not about the issue that's happening. It's what you take from. it repeats itself, it's because you've not picked up the right message, or there's more for you to take from the experience. And so for me, this year, there were some really big challenges for me, and it was really highlighting to me, I didn't trust my instincts. I didn't trust my intuition. I didn't listen to them when they told me, run. And I had to learn the hard way. And I used to always say this earlier on in my business journey, that, my head and my heart are two different things. I lead my business solely with my heart, because when I trust it, I always land in the right spot. But when it comes to my head getting in the way, where I could be taking on a client because I either think that I need to get the money in, or because of circumstances that they might know somebody that I know, or some reason, when that gets in the way, oh my gosh, no, that was the biggest mistake, because I find myself going, why am I here? Why did I not listen? So for a lot of people, that's been showing up this year, those testing themselves unintentionally, and the universe showing them, you need to stop, you need to have a look, take stock of what's going on, because, we all have one beautiful life and we want to live it the best way. And if we're not taking action to make those positive changes, or to turn it into the life we want, then the universe is going to keep reminding us, hey, is this what you really wanted?
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, I'm happy to see 2025 with the deepest of gratitude for the lessons it's taught me, but I'm happy to let it go.
Yeah, for me, what I've noticed is a lot of my relationships with people have changed. Some relationships have fallen away, but some have shifted in the sense of, particularly from me, because the more work I do, the more I look at, who's around me and what relationships have I got around me, who's supporting me. And what I've noticed is, the more that I up-level myself and the more that I do work on myself, I'm constantly looking at who's around me and who am I spending my time with, because I want to be around people who I'm inspired by, who I'm not drained, and those sort of things. So I'm noticing from a relationship point of view that I'm reviewing who's in my circle at the moment.
Yeah, that's a really great one, because I definitely know that showed up for a lot of people this year, and even me. There's that expectations that we have, or that we perceive that we're supposed to do things the right way. Even on, like, say, social media, you're friends with people because it's the right thing to do. But you know what? Why? This year I actually defriended quite a few people from, past, whether it was job, school, or whatever. I let them go because, they've been in my space, and, high school for me was not great. I never felt I belonged. And some of the girls said, made me feel very judged. And, here we are, hate to say, but 30 odd years later, and those girls are in my space. And then I'm like, all you do is bring up those old emotions. You're not engaged with me. So I'll let you go, go live your life. I'll live mine. There's no connection there. And just because we went to school together doesn't mean that we need to be in the same space now.
Yeah.
So evaluating relationships was a big one this year. And I think we're kind of seeing who's really there, who's showed up when you face challenges. I know when I lost my dad and my brother in the last couple of years, it was my clients that showed up for me in the biggest possible way. I cannot tell you how blessed and grateful I am for those clients they didn't have to give me the world. They didn't need to fix my world. They just went, hey, we're here.
Yeah.
But not one of my friends, or what I would, I would have turned up for all of them, but nobody turned up for me. So it was quite a big eye opener that I went, oh, you know what? Boundaries. And, I don't need you to be in that space, because I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
My world's changed massively, and, as we in business know, as we grow and we develop, and we learn more stuff about ourselves. It's exciting. And there's those who are going to lift us up and push us and cheer us on. And then there are those who are going to go, oh, hang on. Oh, well, you can't be that good. Hang on, I'm going to pull you back because I don't want you to be that good because I have my own insecurities. And that's been a massive growth in your path that I've seen for you this year. Like, just, yeah, when I remember when you and I first connected, and we probably had the same, I reckon, where we knew we had the abilities of tapping into our teams of light and getting messages from the other sides, but we were programmed or guiding by others around us for their insecurities that we didn't have those capabilities. And then when you and I talked, I said, oh, you do realize that you actually have a very high gift and you don't even realize that you're your own doubter. And, you know, as it's transpired, like, you know, look where we are now. Like we're flourishing in it and we can feel their energy around us and their love. You know, your mum and dad are very vocal and loud and they like to tell me all the time how proud they are of you. So it's very cute, but it's so, I feel very honoured that they want to show up for us.
Definitely.
So yeah, definitely relationships were big ones this year.
And I also think too, just in that relationship piece, that we also don't need to feel guilty if someone isn't filling our cup anymore. It's just that we're moving into a different phase, or they're going one way and we're going the other. It doesn't mean that we have to create a big story about it. It can be, and I also think too, if we're not feeling sad about losing a relationship, well, maybe there was something fundamentally wrong with it. Okay, that's fine. And that can happen. But if there's others that you just feel that they're not filling your cup, it's okay. You just let them go and bless them and be grateful for the time that you had with them, and you move forward.
Exactly. I always explain to clients that, you know, we have a journey, a path in life that we want to get to, and we have our free will where we get to make the choices. And how I love to describe it is it's like looking at a street map. You know you're here and you want to get over there. But if you know where you drive a street, there's crossroads, there's turns, there's circles. It doesn't mean you're not going to get there. It's just that you get to choose which of those journeys along the way you want to take. And, you know, some of those people just, you know, need to go on a different road, a different pathway. You know, there's a great poem called A Reason, a Season, or a Lifetime, and it's about friendships. You know, my husband and I had it in our wedding book. You know, there were friends who were there for when they needed to be there, but there were friends that have hung around for the, you know, lifetime. So we don't ever hold judgment or nastiness towards them. We're grateful because they were there when they needed to be. And if they're still there, then they still need to be there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not because we need them, it's they need us.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then another thing that I'm finding with particularly toward the end of this year too, is decluttering, like space, you know, clearing that energy. It's feeling like I'm cleaning more spaces in the sense of, oh, this, you know, this room, like this is my room that I do all my work in. I'm like, right, it needs a really good deep clean. Feels like energetically it needs a good cleanse. And so I think that that's another way that people sort of see, you know, usually we call it spring cleaning, but I think
it's a different kind of
level.
Yeah, we have the end of year where we go, oh, new year, let's declutter. But end of a year, 9-year cycle, the cleansing is deeper. It's so much deeper, and it is just, you know, with gratitude, releasing so many things that, because the new path ahead of us is different. But the decluttering is tenfold when it comes to this time, particularly this year, being at the end of the 9-year cycle. People are really feeling it quite strongly.
Yeah, definitely. And then so moving into the 1 year, then what are you, because I know that you're on a bit of a break at the moment, are you starting to get like lots of ideas of, oh my gosh, I could be doing this, or maybe I'll show up differently, or what sort of things are coming to you for a new 1 year cycle?
Well, for me, so last year I had a word for the year, which you and I've spoken to about, which it was pink. And just to explain the story behind it, I learned from a lady in America who has a website called get your pink back. And so basically the story behind it is when flamingos are raising their young, they lose their pink, it dulls, and then once they're finished, it's about getting your pink back. So I decided that was my word for 2025 because, you know, being a mum of 3 and, you know, I live in a small country town. So my husband, we only had one car. So my husband was working a distance way. So I literally spent 5 hours a day driving. And then I was working in between, doing household stuff, feeding kids, you know, the 20,000 mums that come along with it. Mum. But the compromise was me. So I lost track of me. And, you know, my family, I'm very grateful because my husband and my kids are always, you know, if I need a cheer squad, I've got it sorted because they're the ones that will always try and lift me up. And they have been trying to encourage me to make it more about me. But I'm like, I just didn't have the time. So this year was about, but I kind of got towards the end of the year and I went, I didn't achieve everything I wanted. And so I have a really awesome Sunday crew, I call them. And we had a conversation about, you know, the word for 2026. And so the suggestion was going, you know, crimson, the next level up of pink, so you can finish what I started. So I decided not to do crimson. I've done rose. So for me, rose is actually very significant because it's my mum's favorite flower as well. My mum's not passed, she's here. But, you know, I love roses as well. So I went, all right, that's all right. I have a painting I did of a flamingo, which hangs in my office, which was to remind me. So I'm just going to update the painting and add some roses into it. So I remember not to let go of the journey.
Yeah.
But, you know, setting those boundaries. So what's been turning up for me lately is I love painting and doing artwork, but I just haven't had time to do it. And I was like, I go to my husband, I don't know what to paint. I suddenly I don't know what. And then, funnily enough, yesterday, they all chimed in and reminded me of what I used to love painting and why I was doing it. So I've had all this inspiration come through, which is quite exciting. So I'm like, yeah, right, need to block in. And, you know, being offline for the last week has been good because when I have to, in a week, when I'm working, I have to have at least one day where I'm off technology. Otherwise, my creative space can't work. It's just too depleting because when I turn up for clients, I'm not just turning up to do the job. I'm energetically in the space with them. So I find I get depleted and I need to just recharge and just step away from that space. So having this time now, the floodgates are opening and all these things are coming through. So I'm like, I need to write it all down because I know I'll forget, or I'm like, you need to remind me later. And so it's good. I love this time because that's when I get all the influx of ideas to come through and things I'd like to see myself show up. But as you and I have talked about, is I have this really good little sabotager that comes in there and says, well, are you good enough? That person might do it better than you. And I'm like, people buy from us because of who we are. Our ideal audience are often a reflection of us to some element.
Yeah.
So I need to not care about what those people are doing and just do me. And just keep showing up as me because the people who need to resonate with me will find me. Our paths will cross. But so I've got things I've already mapped out and I've just got the last little steps that I need to just keep showing up. Like you keep saying to me all the time, just chip away at it. Just keep going at it.
Yeah. I'm finding for looking into 2026 that I'm getting more focused on things. I'm being really focused on where do I want to put my energy this year. It doesn't mean that it's forever, but this year there's a few things, or in 2026, because we're you know, this is streaming on New Year's Eve, which for in the US, and then it's New Year's Eve for us in Australia, and so next year in a couple of days. I'm starting to get really focused on where do I want to put my energy and where do I want to put some extra time into some parts of my business that, and particularly this show. Like this show is one of the biggest focuses for me next year. Because
your team are just chiming in to say that you have a very big, exciting 2026 coming.
Yeah. Thanks, team.
They do like to interrupt.
Yes, I know.
Their cameo appearance.
And the interesting thing too is that one of the things that my husband and I are looking at and reviewing for the year ahead is from a physical health point of view as well. And so we're putting some new practices in place. And the interesting thing is that I think one of the things that we, when we're trying to put a new practice in place, it's always about, and I talk about this a lot from a mental health point of view, what works for you. It's about experimenting. And so one of the things that I absolutely love about my husband is because he's an ex-Navy guy, he is once the alarm goes off, he actually says feet on deck, right? Because as soon as his alarm goes off, he will just get up. Whereas for me, I'm like, might snooze, So for me to get up in the morning and go for a walk, I love going for a walk on my own. I don't take my pods. I love going for a walk. But for me to actually be motivated to get out of bed, it's quite difficult for me. So what we've actually had a conversation about is because he wants to walk as well. The other thing, though, the difference is that he actually walks at a jogging pace. So I struggle to keep up with him. Like often if we walk, because we always walk hand in hand, I'm like, you're dragging me. And so what we've come to realize is that it's like, okay, we can both get up in the morning when the alarm goes off because he will motivate me. But I said to him, when we get downstairs, you go and I'll just go. So it's like we found this beautiful compromise of we both want to do so that then he doesn't feel guilty because he feels like he's being slow. I don't feel like I'm being dragged, but also then he can go off and walk at the pace that he wants to. And I said to him, look, after a few months, I'll probably end up catching up to you. But it also means then that I'm up, I'm out, and then I can do all my spiritual practices while I'm walking because I love to have that own time. So I think when we're trying to think, and this is some of the stuff that I work with my clients with, it's about experimenting. It's about what works for you. And all of a sudden we've found this perfect connection of he's motivating me to get out of bed, but then his motivation is he wants to walk really quickly and I don't necessarily, but together we've worked out something that works for us.
Yeah.
So the experimenting and just seeing what works for you, I think, is really important.
It is. And, we often hear people start the New Year's resolutions. I believe you don't need to wait to New Year's. You can start today.
Correct.
It's about showing up for yourself when you want to show up. But also, I remember listening years ago to Tiffany Hall, who you may know was I think she was one of the exercise coaches on The Biggest Loser. But she said, if you fall over or you stuff up today, that's okay. Just pick yourself up and keep going. Yep. You're allowed to make mistakes along the way. We are human.
Yeah.
And, as long as you identify it, acknowledge it, you might see why you fell over. What was it that caused it not to keep going? What changed the momentum?
Yeah.
Did you forget? Did you get tired? Did you allow other people to distract you? That's all right. You've identified it. You just pick yourself up and keep going.
Yeah.
And that's it. Make the tweaks that work for you.
Yeah, exactly. And so you've just talked a little bit about the clients that you work with from an OBM point of view. But what about, have you noticed any similarities in the last couple of months when you've been doing some Akashic Record readings? Like, is there, from a 9-year ending point of view?
Yeah, there's a lot. I had a lot of clients actually who were showing up wanting to start things, but the sabotaging was quite big. They just weren't showing up. There was always a reason. There was always somebody around them that was a naysayer who was putting the doubts in their head. Yeah. I'm like, the biggest thing you have to remember is only you have your vision. Only you know what the outcome is.
Yeah.
And if a person is blocking you or making you doubt it, then you need to put a boundary around you to let them say what they want, but don't listen to them. Don't take it on board.
Yeah.
Just, it's a bit, I used to always say this to friends when they were getting married, Yes, everybody's an expert. Everybody's got to tell you how to do it. Let them say it and then just do what you need to do because it's your journey. It's how you show up.
Yeah.
So, you know, we all have somebody around us that can make us second guess ourselves, but we have our power. Don't give them the power of our vision, of our. So that was coming up a lot for clients and I think for the Akashic, you know, the self-doubt was a big one. And people just, they wanted to create that new journey, but they were being held back for various reasons. But, you know, coming to the end of the year, particularly the end of the 9-year cycle, you know, everybody it just wants to, you know, throw the dirty water out and start fresh.
Yeah.
And this gives them that opportunity. You know, all of them were showing up that the journey is there waiting for them. They're ready to go. But they just needed to just get rid of the dirty water. Like, just let it go. It's not going to change your path. Don't let it get in the way to block it, though.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, the roadmap is there. You know, this road might be flooded because somebody's thrown too much dirty dishwater over, but there's another 2 parts there. So just find your other way to get there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit like, so I'm a qualified life coach. And when I was doing my coaching, this was over 10 years ago, when I was doing it, they said, oh, you have to do public speaking, you have to do, and I'm like, I have a really bad story about my public speaking, which is why I don't do it. I don't want to be on a stage in front of, that's just not me.
Yeah.
And I came to honor that and accept that. But part of that community, they were like, you have to do it, you have to do it. And I'm like, it's my kryptonite, man. It's just not my thing. And only because I had to do it once, and I got nominated for an award, and they said, you have to go up and do a 2-minute speech. And I'm like, and one of my friends at the time said, 2 minutes, you'll be fine. 2 minutes, just remember, 2 minutes, and 2 minutes. And they said, you don't know anyone, just turn up, 2 minutes, you'll be right. So I'm like, 2 minutes. You know. I get to the event, I was sweaty, like I looked like I came out of a lake. I was so wet. And I rocked up to the event. My mum and dad turned up to babysit the kids, and I rocked up to the event, and I opened the door, and I'm like, I know you. And I was crippled with fear. Anyway, I got up. It was my turn to get on stage, and I left my glasses in my bag, so I couldn't read my notes. And I was so nervous. I speed talk. Now, I talk fast normally. I was flying. I stopped myself halfway through it and said, I'm really sorry. As you can see, I'm nervous. And when I'm nervous, I speed talk. So if you can keep up, good luck to you. And continued, got off the stage. I was a finalist, but I didn't win the award. But I was like, you know what? I just came to learn that that's just not what I need to do. I'm happy in smaller, more intimate communities, but big I just went, somebody else can have that. That's all for them. And it was quite funny because one of the other girls that I knew at the event, she was in the same category as me. And I was laughing because she's like, I don't think 2 minutes is enough. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Here, have my 2 minutes and you can have 4.
Although I did notice some people actually got others to do their speeches for them. And I'm like, I wish I had known that. I would have outsourced it.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a bit sneaky. But
yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
So yes, getting out of our way is a big thing.
Yeah.
And just showing up, like just show up how you want to show up. There's ways you can do things without having to. I'm quite happy to say record a reel, sharing a piece of information, even doing the show with you. But I don't want to stand on stage. So there's ways we can show up without having to do what everyone else says.
Yep. And I think that also that comparison piece, isn't it, so important because the latest statistic that I saw, and you probably know this better than me, but social media, we've got less than 2 seconds to capture someone's attention on social media.
Yep.
So if you're going to spend 5 hours on worrying about a 30-second reel that you've just done, seriously, don't. because you've just wasted 5 hours of your life. Just put it out there, because at the end of the day, if someone's going to watch it, great. And if not, other people don't care. Like,
it's quite funny. One of my clients this was a big block for her. And I'm like, you need to record a 60-second reel. Just blurt out. Say, identify what the pain point is. Tell them what you're going to answer in the video and tell them the answer. That's it. Get on, record it. And she's like, oh yeah, but I need to have this set up. And nope, just record it. Hold it close to your face. People don't give a crap about what's in your background. Just do that.
Yeah.
I said, let's do it for 30 days, 1 reel a day. I said, and then we'll extend on. Wow. She's found her inner power because she's been doing it. So she texts them all to me. So my phone just goes ding, 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 ding. And then I go and put a cover on them, add the captions, put the intro blurb, and then load them up and schedule them out. And you know what? She goes, it's taken me a long time to get past this mentality of I needed to look perfect on the camera.
Yeah.
And I go, people resonate when we're not perfect. We don't want to be Instagram worthy. We want to be real. And people want authentic. There's so much AI. I half the time can't tell one AI from another. And then my son walks up and goes, oh, that's AI. And I'm like, oh, really? How did you tell? It's just show up when you want to show up how you want to show up. If you don't want to be on a reel, then put a video of something waterfall. There's other ways you can do it. And I like in my business as an OBM, I'm always about when you show up in a way that makes you shine, that makes you feel holistically you will shine. And when you shine, you attract your audience.
Yeah.
So probably 10 years ago, I was working with a client, and I still work with her today. But at this time, we had a business manager who was helping her out. And they were just, I guess, bump steering her all over the place, spending all her money. And I didn't know what their relationship was at the time to know whether I could say something. Anyway, she happened to ring me one day. So the doors opened and I said, look, it's not that I want to do myself out of a job, but you're doing all of these things. Can I ask what it is you want to do in your business? Like, what do you love? And she goes, I love speaking on stage. I love connecting with an audience on a stage and sharing the stories. I say, okay, so get rid of me, get rid of her, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of all of these things and go do that. And you know what? When she did, they all started coming in, because the minute, I don't know if you're like this, but the minute I come across somebody on a talk or a TED talk or whatever it is, I have to scope them out. So I'm like, where's their website? What's their social media? I want to see who they are. I want to know more about them because I've loved what they've said. I'm like, so show up where you shine. Because, doing things that you hate, and I know for a lot of my clients who are in the energy space, they feel very judged on Instagram. And I'm like, so turn up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like one of them's like, why YouTube? And I go, where do you go every time? And because I have heard her say it so many times, I go, where do you go when you want to look for stuff? She goes, oh, I go to YouTube. And I go, I'm like, there you go. So go where you go.
Yeah.
Because that's where your audience will be, because they're a reflection of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's quite interesting. So I think for people, the new 1 year is bringing the hope and the sense of self, like just being who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are sick of the dodgy salesman. They want the real person.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. That real authenticity, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in the, as you know, but in the ebook, the workbook, we've got lots of different things that people can work through for the end of the 9 years. So we've got rituals. So we've got like burning. We've got suggested things of how you can burn things.
Although I have seen all those sage burning where the car's driving around with so feel free to burn out all of the negativity from the
So doing energetic, using sage, but you can actually write things out. So writing things out of what you want to let go of. My husband and I have a ritual. At the end of any year on New Year's Eve, we write out all the things we want to let go of from that year. Then we write down what we want to bring in for the year ahead, and then we actually burn it. And so it's just like we're just trusting, we're giving it to the universe. So there's rituals like that.
I think important too, when you're writing what you're letting go of, thank it for either the lesson it taught you, for how it showed up for you, how it's made you grow from it.
Yeah.
Not so much the pain it caused you or
Yeah.
the challenges, but what you took from that situation to make you go, well, that's not how I'm going to show up again.
Yeah.
Or I'm not going to allow that. Here's my boundary wall. By giving the gratitude, you're just allowing the universe to see that, you have taken on board what you needed to.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. So we've got the burning. I've also put some card spreads in there as a suggestion as well. But then lots of,
I gotta say, I
yeah,
love your card spreads. And for those who've not done them, I have actually enrolled in Megan's courses throughout 2025 for the Oracle cards, and that's been my favorite. They're my Sunday crew. So it's Megan and a couple of the others. We've turned up. We've pretty much been there all year, signed up for every course throughout the year because we've loved it, and we've built such a great little community. But it's been so amazing to learn because I've had oracle cards and stuff for years, but I never ever knew there was so many different types of spreads you could do. And I think the fact that every time we did them, they were just so on point, like just amazing.
So there's some there's a spread in there for the end of the 9 year and then the 1 year as well, which is good. We've also got lots of pages to journal, so there's lots of places that you can write. We've got affirmations that you can use or then create on your own. So there's lots of different but really practical things that you can do as well. And also for anybody who does purchase the book, you can either when you download it, you can actually do it electronically or you can print it out and then you can write it. It just depends on how you want to deal with it. So
I think for somebody who might want to reflect on it during the year, print it out. It's really cool.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
It's really nice.
Yeah. Actually, I've had quite a few people who have already purchased it that have said they've gone off to their local printer and had it printed and bound.
Yeah.
It's like an official.
I feel like it's more than it's not just another ebook. It's such a journey, and like you've covered so many really valuable things that it's a practice that comes in at the end of the year, 9 year cycle, also opening up to. But I think it's something that you can also constantly, part of any, I guess, business strategy or life journey, we recheck in.
Yeah.
And it's always good to go and look back and see what showed up at that time, because you'll be amazed what you see, that you go, oh, wow, I've come a long way. And I know you always reference that, when you talk to your clients or, because we get caught up in the emotions of what's happening. We don't pay attention. And then you always go, but 6 months ago you were doing this, and you go, oh, actually, yes.
Reflection is such a powerful tool.
Yeah,
because we're constantly wanting to move forward, but then we forget of where we've actually come. And it's one of the things, Anne, that I love for you, that you've just used a different tone of colour on the theme for you this year, because you're not saying, well, I didn't achieve everything, but now I need a new colour. It's actually, okay, I'm giving it a rose hue and then finishing out what I didn't. And I love that, because we can often think, well, I didn't achieve everything, so I'm, oh my gosh, I can never finish anything, or oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't get it done.
And there's no definition for when it has to be finished. It's our journey, it's our timeline.
Correct.
And it's just a way for us to honor ourselves. I'm forever trying to encourage my own children that set a goal for what you want. And one of my kids always had challenges with primary school turning up. His teachers were just pretty crappy, really, but they weren't encouraging him in a way. They were connecting. He had one amazing teacher, because he doesn't like the light shined on him, so to speak, at a classroom. And this teacher would I'd call his name out quietly and go, yes, dear, and he would say, I'm struggling, come and help me, or, he was all right. And he got to high school this year, and he got really good. He got A's that he didn't think he would get. He thought he'd be below D's. And he just said to me, I'm the second half of this year, I want to get more A's. I'm like, it's your goal. You said it, you do it. You just got to show up for you. And he did that. And I said to my husband, I said, they listen to us all the time. We talk about them. So it's nice to see that what we talk about, he's just intuitively taken it on board and set his own goals for how he wanted to show up for himself. But there was no timeline,
No.
to you.
No, exactly. And so as we're moving into the new 1 year, like what have you felt a shift in the energy? Like, are you feeling like things are shifting for you and for your clients? What's
I think a lot of clients were showing excitement, like openness to the possibilities. They're ready. Like they just want it. They just want to know that 2025 is closed out and they're ready. And I know for a lot of them, they're going to show up in ways they didn't think they would. And some of them, I'm excited because I have decided to step into my own thing and I'm launching a mastermind. And some of them are actually going to be joining the mastermind, which is to help them to show up in a way that is 100% aligned to them. But, it's people don't want the noise anymore. And, they want to do things that feel, if you think back, it feels like a lifetime ago, but COVID changed the way we look at things. And people back then were wanting to show up that felt more honest and real for themselves. And as the journey has gone on, here they are today, they're wanting that even more. People are sick of spreading themselves thin to do everything for everyone, showing up to be everything, because it's actually not doing them any good. And so they need to set the boundaries to show up for themselves the way that they need to. And so that's part of what's coming in for them, which is really nice. They keep showing me like open waters, the sea breeze, that gentleness of a wave coming in is what they're reflecting as people they want to show up, but in a nice, calm, gentle, caring way. Not here, look at me, bright lights, beam. They just authenticity is a big one coming in for 2026.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think too is that just because it's a 1 year, we don't think that we have to get everything done in the first year of the new cycle either. Maybe concentrate on one thing that you really want to nail, you really want to get really good at, or a really good habit, or for my husband and I, that walking every morning, no matter whether it's the weekend or not, same time every day, that's the new habit that we really want to instill. And I said to him, that's the one thing that I'm not going to change anything else. Maybe in 6 months time I'll then go, okay, that's now embedded, I'll look at something else. But even if it takes me the whole year to really embed that, great. And then the year after I can start something new. So I think that, it's that not feeling overwhelmed that, oh my gosh, now I've cleared everything. I mean, I'm excited. I've got 100,000 things that I want to do, but realistically it's like, taking a breath and
and like the best strategy is write it down. If you brain dump it all down, and like for a business strategy point of view, I always say to clients, write it all down. Put it aside for a couple of days and go back. The first things that jump out of you are usually where you need to start. And you want to start at something that is easy to turn over, create, that will bring you revenue to help fuel and fund the bigger things. The same things in life. Yes, we want to, lose weight, do more exercise, eat healthier, read more books, do all of these things, but do them within moderation. I remember Jen Jeffries, who was a guest on your show. I've worked with Jen for over 10 years. And Jen, I remember her doing a reel where she said, I want to read more. And so what she was doing was reading 10 pages a day. She said, in a month, I've read a book. So I used to say that to my kids, you hate doing 15 minutes reading, 10 pages. Just read 10 pages. That's all I'm asking for you. So, last year, the year before, my goal was to read at least a book a month, because time poor. So this year I didn't actually do it. I think I read one book this year, which was Tuesdays with Murray. And that's because my dad was coming through telling me I had to read it. And there were so many messages in there relating to him that were coming through. And I've got the second book, which was the follow-up for it, which I haven't read yet, but I've been reading over this last week, and my husband's like, oh, so nice to see you sitting down reading. And I'm like, yeah, more reading time. You know, I love doing it. You know, for me, there's a story behind me reading, because I didn't read in high school because I struggled. And one of my teachers humiliated me in front of the whole class because I'm partially deaf, and so I just hated being in school, and so I would get nervous in front of all the girls, especially all the so-called cool ones. So when I had to read, I stuttered like, oh my gosh, it was terrible. It would take me 5 minutes to say one sentence. And she just humiliated me, go in front of everyone, saying, move past it, we'll never get past it. And, you know, when I left high school, I started to read James Patterson books, and, you know, now, you know, I love reading and I read all the time. But yeah, so reading is more my goal for this year.
Yeah.
But, you know, setting those small increments of how you can achieve it, rather than go, right, this is all. So break it down. What are the smallest steps in it that you could be doing? Like for you, you know, the alarm, your husband getting you out of bed, that's your first trigger point. And then from there it flows.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I'd usually close off these conversations with like, what is one lesson or truth that you wish you'd known earlier? But today I'm going to ask you, well, I'm going to ask both of us. So, Anne, Megan, what is one piece of wisdom you have been gifted this year?
Well, I've always said I lead my business through heart, and my intuition is a massive part of that. And this year I was divinely guided and reminded to trust that and to listen to it. I unfortunately experienced an awful situation in my business because I let my head get in the way. And it was really, I was mind-blowing for me, because the whole thing that unfolded is something I would never do to somebody else. So I was really shocked, but it was really honing in that I needed to listen to my intuition, because their warning bells were going off right from the start, and I didn't listen because I let too many other things get in the way. So for me, it was just really honoring it. And trust is another one. They're just chiming in at me. Trust is also because, and not trusting other people, but trusting myself. So quite often my team will talk to me about things, and I don't listen, or I go, yeah, and just go on. But I need to stop and listen, because the reason they are telling me it is for a reason. The reason, you know, signs come through from my dad is because he's wanting me to know about things, or to try and help me and support me as best he can from where he can. So yeah, intuition and trust are huge this year. So yeah. And what about you, Megan? What were yours?
So trust, I think, is definitely one of the things that I'm getting, I'm leaning more and more into all the time. I'm quite good, and I kind of innately trust most of the time, but sometimes I can wobble a bit. So definitely trust. But for me, it's about just chipping away. Like, I feel like this year in particular, I just continue to chip away, and I can feel when I chip away, I continue with my momentum. Like, my momentum doesn't stop if I'm just slowly chipping away. A lot of my clients that I work with know that I really celebrate the James Clear book, Atomic Habits. You know, he talks about just doing 1% a day. I would probably do more than 1% a day, but the moral of the story is just doing something in your business or whatever you want to achieve every day. And you just chip away. And I love that when he says, you know, someone's been chipping away for 10 years and they get that one break, and then everyone calls them an overnight success. And it's like, well, they're not really, you know, it's been 10 years. So for me, it's the chipping away.
People tell you what they want you to believe, not the story behind it.
Yeah.
I remember when I was doing the coaching, they were talking about this particular lady who's just divine, but they're saying that when she launched her program, it sold out within less than 24 hours. But what was behind the scenes was that every day for 5 years, she had been doing blog articles and all of this other stuff that built up to this one occasion when she finally released it. You know, there's so many things that people do behind it. And it's a bit like, you know, people will, I remember early in business, everybody used to go in the training group I was in, they're like, oh, you know, that person's making all this money and, you know, they're so successful. And I'm like, but they're only telling you they've made, you know, we've seen this. People go into groups and go, oh, I made $80,000 in January alone. But they didn't make it the rest of the year. So why wouldn't you repeat what you did in January? Because they're not telling you the full story. Is that 80,000 before they've paid out their expenses?
Yeah,
or
like
is that
profit
what they
or growth.
pocketed? They just tell you they tiny little grain they want to make it look. So chipping away. I like that.
Chipping away. Yeah,
That's
you and
actually
I
one of
chipping
my
away
goals.
at a lot of things.
Blocking out time. Yes.
Yeah.
I've got little woody woodpeckers in
We'll have to get us a little a little pick, you know, like in the movie The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
When he likes it. See, that's another thing slowly chipped away and chipped away these tunnels. So how will you be celebrating New Year? Are you still awake at midnight or sound asleep?
Yeah, I'm always awake at midnight. But, well, they do have fireworks locally, so we may drive down, which we did last year, and just watch them from the beach. So the main city, the main little town, Victor Harbour, gets really packed because it's tourist season down here. So suddenly we go from our little area only doesn't have traffic lights. We have two big roundabouts. But when it's Christmas time and all the houses along the beach are closed all year until this time of year, which is sad because we have so many people looking for homes and all these sit vacant. But come this time of year, you can tell when it's crazy because the roundabouts take you over 10 minutes to get through. And then you could tell the difference between country drivers to the city. And I remember my sister one year, I was whinging about somebody and their bad driving. She goes, oh, you're so country now. You go from the city, but man, you are so country.
Well, lucky you for being able to just drive down and see your fireworks. You can't do that in Sydney.
Oh, no. I know. Like, it's just,
No. And I'm sure that there's lots of parts of places, you know, around the world that, you know, New York Times Square and all of those sort of things like, whoo, they're definitely
just celebrate in the new year, Megan?
We will definitely not make midnight. I think we might watch the 9 o'clock fireworks on TV, but no. No, it's not really a big deal for me.
No.
So yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having this conversation. It's been really good, actually. It's been quite fun. And I actually think that there's so much. It's funny. I think incidentally, like when you and I talk, I think we actually share a lot of information, but we just take it for granted, this stuff that we know. So I have no doubt that the audience, I think, and everyone watching and listening, I think they'll pick up quite a few things through this conversation. So thank you for joining me today.
Yes, and I highly recommend the book because, you know, you just put so much love into it and it's awesome.
Thank you. And I'd also like to thank my amazing and dedicated audience, sponsors, supporters. I'm extremely grateful for all of the support that everyone has shown me this year. I wish everyone a wonderful end to 2025, a very happy new year. And I look forward, thank you, Anne. And I look forward to seeing everyone again in 2026 in a 1-year cycle. It's very exciting. Thanks, Anne.
Thank you.